Hey sis, welcome back to the Wife Wisdom Podcast. I'm Christy Little-Jones, relationship coach, your chief cheerleader, and soul sister on your journey to creating a life and marriage that loves you back. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been rocking with me for years, welcome back. I missed you. Today is not all about relaunching the Wife Wisdom Podcast. It's all about the reset. A reset that has been years in the making. So let's get into the episode. I want to share a little bit of my backstory. Since I was a little girl, I have always wanted to be a wife and mom. I was probably about 12 when it became a regular occurrence in my house. So you can only imagine how nervous this made my parents. And fast forward about 20 years later, I got married. We had 3 babies in 3 years. They are currently a sophomore, junior, and senior in college. I inherited a son when I got married. He's also married, so I have a daughter-in-law, and they gave us our first grandbaby girl. So I've always had a heart for marriage, a heart for family. So when we got married, we were madly in love and could not stop thinking about each other, being with each other, spending time with each other. We're really, really connected, which I'm sure many of you were as well. And then between raising kids, managing careers, and life just lifing, we grew apart, became more distant, and really actually ended up feeling like roommates more than soulmates. I want to share why I paused the podcast. Those of you who don't know, the Wife Wisdom Podcast initially launched in 2016. And then in 2021, my dad died. And I'm a daddy's girl, so I was completely devastated. But I thought that continuing to do the podcast would help me in my grieving process. And initially it did. But then I hit a wall and I knew I had to put a pause on the podcast because I needed to really focus on my healing and my grieving, and not to mention my kids were becoming more busy at school. They went to 3 different high schools in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and I just wanted to be present. I really learned after dad died that life is so precious and it goes so quickly, and you really just never know when it's your time to go. So I wanted to be present and focus on being present for my kids, especially when they were in high school, because I wanted to go to all of the football games and the lacrosse games and the art shows and the musical recitals. I wanted to be at all of them, and I was. And so during that time, my husband and I, we also became more distant. We became more emotionally disconnected. And what I thought once was soulmates actually started to feel like roommates. And that is one of the reasons why I wanted to relaunch the podcast. I've been a relationship coach for over 20 years and will be married 23 years this year. And one of the things that I noticed, one of the things that I realized during my pause or my sabbatical from the Wife Wisdom Podcast was that when wives got to about 18, 19, 20 years in marriage, I started hearing a lot more of, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I started hearing a lot more of, I don't really like him very much. And I know that it's on the reverse side too, right? I know that husbands are feeling the same way. So once you get to a certain stage in marriage, it feels not very happily ever after. And so I really wanted to shift my focus a little bit. Initially, when I launched the Wife Wisdom Podcast in 2016, my focus was on wives who were newly engaged and helping them to prepare for marriage, or newly married wives who really wanted to thrive as a wife, and then also seasoned wives who really needed support and encouragement staying a wife. And I realized as I got closer to the 18-year mark, the 19, 20-year mark in marriage, I really understood what some seasoned wives had been sharing with me in our counseling sessions, that they didn't know if they were going to make it. They weren't sure if they wanted to make it. And I felt that. I knew what they were talking about because I felt that too. And so this time with the reset, with the relaunch of the Wife Wisdom podcast, I really want to focus on wives who are struggling, who are silently struggling, struggling in silence, whether they are crying themselves to sleep, whether they are like looking at their husbands with the side eye because they're like, ew, yuck, like I don't want to be with you anymore, or they are really just don't know what to do because they've invested way too much to walk away because they have children, they've got property, investments, all the things, but they still are like, I don't know. And then they also have single friends who are like, girl, you don't want to come out here. You don't want to get out here. Let me tell you, it's terrible. And so they're stuck. They're stuck in survival mode, and there's no emotional connection. There's no real intimacy. They're kind of two ships passing the night. They're just going through the motions, and they're really just coexisting. Let me tell you, sister, I know how you feel. I was there for several years, but the relaunch of the Wife Wisdom podcast is all about reconnecting, reigniting your joy, reconnecting emotionally, really repurposing and refinding you, and just healing your heart. There's so much brokenness in marriage, not only because of just distance, discouragement, unmet expectations. There's just a lot of brokenness on both sides of the marriage. And I'm here to help you as a wife that's struggling in your marriage to I'm going to help by sharing some of the things that I've gone through, by helping coach you and support you through the process of getting back to reconnecting, reconciling, restoring the love, the intimacy, the trust in your marriage. So, what's different about this season? After 20 years of counseling couples, mostly couples in crisis, after going through my own soul journey of not wanting to step away and walk away from my own marriage, and really rediscovering hope, reconnection, re-engaging emotionally and intimately with my husband after almost literally we almost didn't make it. I really want to help and support and encourage you in your own marriage, in your own journey. And so the way that I want to do that is I want to take you in the trenches with me. I want to share the real deal, nitty gritty, no fluff, no cut cards, not holding anything back about what it took to really renew my hope in my marriage, renew the trust in my marriage. Because let me tell you, I was very disappointed because my marriage did not look like what I had prayed for. It did not look like what I had thought it was supposed to look like what I felt I was promised that it was going to look like. Like before we said I do, I thought it was going to look a very different way. And there were some things that I've gone through that I think will really help and support you in your own walk, in your own journey. And there will be different conversations that we have that you may be so encouraged because you're like, that's exactly how I felt. I didn't know the words for it, but that's exactly how I feel. So after surviving years 18 to 22, I realized there are a ton of women like you, like me, who are stuck, who feel like they are surviving. They're suffering in silence in their marriage. They aren't so sure if they're going to make it to happily ever after, because I was one of them. So in this season, I am going to take you into the trenches with me. I'm going to share vulnerably what I did to overcome the distance, the discouragement, the disappointment, the disgust, all of it. We're going deeper this season. Real talk, no fluff, real healing, real results. I'm here to walk in the trenches with you. We're going to do the soul work. So bring your journal with you when you're watching, when you're listening, because we're going to do the healing work. It's going to be necessary for you to get back to you. New episodes drop every Monday, so be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and tell another wife who needs a little wisdom and a whole lot of love. I love you. See you soon. Thanks so much for watching. If the video you just saw blessed you, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you're ready to go a little deeper, whether in your faith, your relationships, or personal growth, visit ChristyLovesYou.com/go deeper. I have something really special waiting for you there. Until next time, know that you are loved, you are seen, and I am cheering for you always.